do some searching of some little bit better songs there?
Trying to get us some top quality for top quality guests.
Have you used this on a commercial, haven't you? That's why you know. Today on the Farm4Fun show, we slide east a state to meet up with a very much beloved digital creator in the ag space. Several years ago, she left behind what she thought was her dream corporate career to stick around the farm and start living her life to the fullest. She now works to inspire others to find their passions by sharing her experiences on all the socials, where she has over 11,000 followers on Facebook, 88,000 on Instagram, and almost 230,000 on TikTok. Please welcome, from Northern Illinois, Mrs. Mary Pat Sass.
All right.
Wow.
Woo.
That was great. I feel hyped now.
All right.
That's the point. That's the point. Let's go. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're great.
Oh, we are.
Although I did just find out that you don't follow me on Twitter.
Oh, I'm not a tweeter much.
Sad.
I mean, like, I barely ever go
To
on
be
there,
fair,
so
she
I'm sorry.
follows 33 people.
Ooh.
So
That's terrible.
I bet I'm one of them.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna go. You guys carry this. I'm gonna dig into that.
All right, Mary. Corey did a great job of getting the hype started, but he didn't tell the whole story about who you are, where you're from, and what your tie to agriculture is.
Yeah, so I'm Mary Pat Sass. You can call me MP. That's my favorite thing to be called, I guess. Shorten up. And I am a crop farmer's wife from Northern Illinois. We farm with my husband's two brothers and their dad, mostly corn and soybean operation. But I grew up on a dairy farm in Wisconsin, and I was very involved on that operation as well growing up. I actually really miss having livestock now. But yeah, my number one job is stay-at-home mom. We have two little kids, and I also am involved on the farm, and I continue to get more and more involved all the time. And I've also started a couple of my own businesses as well as sharing on social media.
She said a crop farmer's wife. How much time do you get given flack for describing yourself that way?
Not a lot. I think that because it's my choice, like, I am honored to do what I do. I really enjoy being a mom and a wife and serving my family, and I don't get much flack. If it bothers somebody, that's something that I could easily let roll off my back because I'm proud to be called that.
Yeah, because, Corey, we've seen the debates. It seems like they are debates, or maybe it's just social media at work, of you're not just the farmer's wife. You're an integral part in the operation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't hold yourself to that. You're a farmer. Couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, I think people get their undies in a bundle too much over that, and it's just, you just gotta, like, why are we hanging up on something so trivial, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because just, like, you could call yourself anything, and you're always going to be much more than that, so.
Oh, I'm just a banker. Don't worry about it.
You are. So I'm scrolling through here. First one on the list that I see, Bodie Kitchell.
Oh.
Growing corn. Zach Johnson. Josh Schick. Kale Carlson. Jenny.
Well, she doesn't have a bad followers list.
Laura Farms. Faber. There's past guest. Aaron Holbert, past guest. Swanson. Oh, yeah.
She must
and the
just,
Farm Babe.
She just must go down the Farm for Profit show list.
Yeah.
And just follow people on Twitter.
That's funny. It's like, okay, this list of people that I follow, but when's the last time I actually logged into Twitter? I don't even know if I pulled it up on my phone right now, if it would, like...
Really? So why is that? Did you get off when everyone was leaving Twitter a couple years ago?
Oh, no. I think with social media, you have to pick a platform to master. And for me, that was Instagram. And when I mastered Instagram, it was right around the time when Reels were really starting to crank up. So the next logical platform for me to go to was TikTok. And I've tried to tweet once in a while here and there, and I pretty much don't know what I'm doing with it. So it's just not my bread and butter.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
Reels came onto Instagram in what, was it 2020-ish?
Yeah, I think somewhere around there.
Because we went to TikTok first, and I suck at Instagram.
Yeah.
What is the key to Instagram?
Well, I think that's been changing. In the beginning, it was, a lot of photo content, like having really high quality photos and really good captions to go along with it to engage the audience. And now it's moved so much to well, kind of sort of like TikTok, but just a lot more short form video and keeping people engaged with a short amount of time.
It's tough. You got to have a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine have not been doing good.
So what is MP up to today? What's life on the farm look like in the dead of winter?
Oh, we don't do anything. We actually go on vacation. This is my hotel room in Boca.
Yeah, right. Now, everybody, you have to go to YouTube. You have to go over to YouTube right now and see her hotel room. It's the beauty of a podcast.
Yeah.
So I can share this because this won't be airing in real time, but I will not share this in real time. My husband actually isn't home. He's away at a meeting for planter clinic. He's at a planter clinic to learn about the planter before we get into planting. So this time of year, it's a lot of planning, meetings, learning what we're going to be trying. But it's nothing like the life of a livestock farmer in the winter because I've lived both lives, so I can tell you it is definitely a lot different. But the things that we do through the winter are just as important to make the operation run smoothly when we get to the season. So lots of maintenance left to do. But as far as what I'm doing personally, most of the time I have my kiddos with me. They're at daycare today, but I'm working on getting ready to launch my new company today. So I'm playing around with a laser and doing a bunch of stuff for that.
Ooh, new companies. We like new information on this podcast. What is the new company?
So it's called Grounded Journals, and it's basically like a prompted journal and photo album for farmers and ranchers. It helps really people in our space preserve their memories for the future generations, and the prompts kind of help spark the thoughts of what to write down. And it's been a really long process, about 18 months in the works, trying to get everything off the ground for this. So
that sounds you're standardizing the journaling process, it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. It's definitely, I mean, I have one that's specific for crop farmers, one that's specific for dairy farmers. So the prompts really are to help that specific type of farmer write their story. So
that is so thoughtful. I mean, my mother has kept a diary or a journal all of my childhood, all of my life. And when I got married, a wedding present is she gave my wife a 10-year journal. And for Christmas, she just got her second 10-year journal because we've been married for 10 years and my wife has written in it. And it's so cool. Even if you don't think today was significant and you go back through it 6, 7, 8 years ago or later down the road, you're like, oh, yeah, I do remember that.
I thought that's what Facebook memories were for.
But then you got to post it to everybody.
I could post it just to your family. You can pick who you share it to. That's how I get it. I don't journal, but I do post.
I don't either, but I do use social media as that.
I do, yeah.
And Facebook constantly reminds me that 10 years ago I was a dumbass.
And
that's what I was thinking. You can burn a journal, but you can't burn Facebook.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
But
that's a
that's
felony.
honestly, that's one of the reasons I created it, is because Instagram or my social platforms have been kind of a journal for me, but I don't trust that those are going to be around when my kids want to look back on it someday. And this is definitely old school. It's going back to the old pen and paper type of thing, but I think there's some beauty in that too in this day and age.
There's a lot of science too around writing your thoughts out, positive affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as you've built your social media following, why do you think people follow you? What is it?
Oh man, I don't know. I've never asked myself or thought about that, I guess. I really just try to share my real life from a day to day, try to get people to relate. I mean, not everyone can relate to farm life specifically, but they can relate to a lot of the things that we go through. So I try to connect that and, put the face behind the people producing food.
I said it the other day. Being real, relatable. She just said it. Relatable.
Isn't that an app? Be Real?
Yeah.
Are you on that?
I am not, but my kid is.
Oh.
So he's on it. Takes a picture of the background, but then it takes a picture of what you're doing too.
That's the Facebook now, or TikTok now.
Yeah. Be real.
Another page of the journal.
There's got to be more to that, Mary. I mean, do you have a majority of your followers, are they in agriculture, or are you able to kind of bridge the gap between consumers and agriculture?
I think there's some of each. For sure, when I started, it was a lot more people on the farming side, but I feel like that's expanded now over time. I get a lot of, you can't really like designate like whether you're a farmer or not when you sign up for social media. So it tells you like, okay, I've got like 75% female followers, 25% male. But demographically, I would say probably still at least 50% are directly in agriculture or grew up in it and are just interested in being there. And the rest are probably, I get random upticks from stuff that I do that has nothing related to farming that brings in people that aren't really farmers. So.
How long did it take you to make your social media following on TikTok? 230. There's other people that have struggled to get past 30 or 50,000.
I'm sitting right here.
So I'm curious how
2,000.
What did it go from like 0 to 200, or did you do something specific and be like, oh, that was cool, I got 10,000, now I got 30, now I got 80?
I will tell you, it's cyclical all the time. So like right now, I would say my engagement is pretty well tanked on TikTok. It just kind of happens that way. And also I think that as a content creator, I don't know if you guys go through this, but I go through hills and valleys of inspiration and feeling motivated.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot, so right now I would say I'm more in a valley, but every time we get to a busy season, that's when I see upticks. Like when we're out in the tractors, doing the work every day, that's what people want to see, but it's not our life all the time. So I'm trying to share in the moment like what we're doing throughout different times of the year. But yeah, I always see upticks in engagement and following during the busy seasons.
Yeah, I didn't post on TikTok from Christmas. It was a month. Just kind of went through that spot of I'm out.
This is the doldrums of winter. This is the bottom of my barrel every year, is that after Christmas to when you get around that March time where you can actually get some warmer days and it starts to feel like spring. This is typically the worst time of the year. This year I've been going good.
What'd you call it? Doldrum?
The doldrums of winter.
Never heard that word before.
Look it up.
Doldrums?
Here, I'll Google it for
Look
you
it
while
up,
we
Google.
keep chatting.
But I would echo that it is slow because I am inspired when I'm busy and doing stuff, and if I'm not, then that's the winter. It just does not flow like it normally does.
Doldrums. DOLDRUMS. A state or period of inactivity, stagnation, or depression.
God, you didn't know I was such a
Man,
thesaurus.
You are so smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
But I love watching your social media, and I know that's where a lot of these Farm for Fun episodes go, is that's the connections we've made. We get some suggestions, and it's not always through guest solicitation, but it's fun to watch the wide variety, but I don't know how you get your husband to do what you ask him to do in your posts.
Oh man, it's been a while since he's really been in stuff. I mean, once in a while he is, but yeah, he doesn't love being behind the camera, so.
So how do you have to like entice him? Do you have to, give him an ultimatum, or does he willingly do this for you?
So he does to a point, but he's definitely got more boundaries. I sometimes joke with him and say, like, when I was like not doing much with this, you were a lot more willing to be behind the camera with me. I think he's just gotten to a point where he's like, if you need me, fine. If you can do it without me, please do. And I've had people like make some pretty terrible assumptions, and I was just like, I don't know. I've had people say like, "Oh, Josh doesn't seem that willing to be behind camera with you. He must not be that loving of a husband." Ooh. And that kind of stuff. I'm just like, this isn't worth forcing you to be with me on camera if you're not actually enjoying it. So sometimes he does, but I never force it. Like, if you want to, fine. If not, no big deal. But he enjoys when he can help talk through stuff like educating the different parts of the planter, or, stuff that he's really interested in, not really the goofy dances and stuff like that.
Sometimes it's just the husband's job just to be difficult.
That's fair.
We don't want it to be so easy.
Yeah.
Right?
He'll hold the phone for me and film me doing stuff, but
See, I can't get my wife to do that.
Really?
She does. She's probably opposite. Like she does. She's not on TikTok. She'll scroll through Instagram Reels, which is basically TikTok. But if I make a TikTok, she's out.
Yeah, I have to have my 8-year-old hold the phone and do my filming for me before my wife would step up. But she has no problem sending over TikTok ideas saying, you should do this.
Yeah.
You should do this.
I don't get that. I don't get that either.
Yeah. A lot of your content is around preparing meals for the field. I mean, you introduced yourself as a crop farmer's wife. And I mean, that follows right into the stereotype.
The lens just fell off of our camera.
You'll be all right.
Not the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
Not the first time. We're professional operation here.
So back into the question. So you get a lot of mileage out of that, out of preparing the meals. Is there a request for that, or it's just dictating what you do on a day?
No. So, okay. I have to lay the groundwork for you to make it make sense. But so we farm with my husband, his 2 brothers, and their dad. So that's 4 families, 4 farm wives, whatever they call themselves, right? And before we came on to the farm, my husband's mom made them meals every night, whatever that looked like, whether she spent all afternoon in the kitchen getting them a meal or whether she ordered them a pizza for takeout, she delivered them a warm meal. So like that is something that they became accustomed to, and even his dad became accustomed to. And I think I've been told, I don't know if I'm like reiterating this super factually, but that when she was asked to do more farm work, she said, do you want a hot meal or do you want me in a tractor? And they chose the meal route. So she has been in that supportive role, but she's chosen that. She had the option, and because there's 4 of us, we split up that like dinner responsibility throughout the week, which I really look forward to. That's something that lights my fire. My grandma used to tell stories about making meals for the threshing crew, and I learned a lot about what I know about cooking from her. So it's kind of like a generational thing for me too. But anyway, I only get to make a meal like once or twice a week, and it was I was having FOMO because I wanted to be part of the farm more than 1 or 2 meal nights a week, plus random parts runs and filling up the tractors with fuel. So in the last about year or so, I've really been, year to 18 months, I've been the squeaky wheel and telling my husband that I really want more. I want more. Tell me what I can do. Teach me how to do stuff. And I've been building my skills and becoming more and more involved on the farm. So yeah, technically like the farm wife, stereotypical, wearing a apron, cooking all day in the kitchen isn't technically what I look like, but I'm still calling myself that because no matter what I'm doing, I'm supporting work getting done on the farm and keeping that needle moving forward. So
I don't think that's stereotypical of what a farm wife looks like. I know lots and lots of women that are driving tractors, grain carts, combines, hooking up heads. My wife does cattle chores, skid loader, operator. I maybe that's changed.
You're the rancher's husband.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
That should be your handle.
That's what it should be. I might get more follow.
I think oftentimes it's like what you were saying before, when a woman does those more like non-traditional, whatever roles, whatever jobs you say, that they should be calling themselves the rancher or the farmer. But whatever you want to call yourself. If it's the farm wife, and I learned how to chisel plow this fall, and that was like, I had really enjoyed that. So
That's fun.
Yes.
yeah.
I want to get back to your chisel plowing escapades because that's what they looked like. But I can't skip over the fact that there are 4 families working together.
That all expect meals.
Well, I expect meals or not. That's 4 families that are working together. We have interviewed guests that can't get along with dad, let alone having 4 families. What's the groundwork to how these 4 are all still farming together?
I don't know what their parents did to raise them the way they did, but
I gotta assume it's necessity.
What?
I gotta assume it's necessity that you have enough work for 4 families. I'm guessing they all stay busy. Nobody's sitting on their haunches, right?
Right, but we could, instead of it all being family, we could be hiring more employees.
Sure.
It wouldn't
Yeah, I
necessarily
gotcha.
have
Okay.
to be.
Yeah, so go ahead with your explanation.
Yeah, so I worked with a lot of farmers, a lot of farm families in my previous career, and it kind of amazed me how people treated each other in front of me, like someone in my position who was not close to their farm at all, and like you imagine what happens behind closed doors then. But I would say, like, just with my experience with different farm families, I thought we were pretty healthy. Everyone really talks to each other really respectfully, and I think some of the things that have helped us are, well, like about a year ago, we hired someone as like a business coach. So they help kind of have some of those tougher conversations, especially because my father-in-law isn't like going to be done farming anytime soon. We don't want him to be. We want him to keep doing it as long as he's happy doing it. But they're trying to just figure out who's going to be doing what when my father-in-law isn't like the head honcho anymore, and they're definitely in that transitional phase, in the phases of that, but having regular communication and business meetings and stuff, and although it is a family business, it is still a business, so we have to hold each other accountable and set expectations. So that's kind of, I think, what's helped make us successful.
So you've got into the farm transition planning side of things. That's good, because we've actually had podcasts on that, and I think a lot of farms lack that and need it. So I think you also have...
Especially just...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, especially on the communicating side of things, like, things can go untalked about for way too long and just ruin family farms.
That is, and I am guilty of it as so much. If something bothers me, like, instead of just heading it on and having that difficult conversation that you should just address the situation, sometimes I just shut up because I don't want to deal with the, the anger that comes from it, just like kind of like not today, but then it just snowballs into not today, not this week, not this month, not this year, and all of a sudden it comes to a head, and that's a big problem. So something I need to work on.
Should we take a drink break before we get into our next?
Yeah. What did you bring today?
Yeah, so we, thanks to Busch Light for being the proud partner of the Farm4Profit podcast, we have grenadine syrup today.
So we just like
Shirley
Busch with a splash of grenadine?
like a Shirley Temple or a Roy Rogers. This was a suggestion just to throw a splash of grenadine in it. Because what if you think of grenadine, Dave, is grenadine a strawberry? Is it a cherry? It's a cherry flavor,
cherry.
isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we'll just throw a splash. Uh-oh.
I love grenadine.
I've never bought grenadine before. What aisle is it in at the grocery store?
It is at the end of an aisle in Fairway, across from the booze.
I was thinking it's just at the bar. You just got to ask them. Add some grenadine. I didn't know they sold it at the grocery store.
Ready?
Some people make drinks at home, Dave.
Oh, there you go.
MP, do you have a drink of choice?
Well, I'm jealous of your drinks. I used to be a bartender, so I love all the fun mixology drinks. I have a Celsius because I have to go pick up my kids, and I needed the energy.
So what was one of your favorite drinks to make?
I don't know if I had a favorite to make, but nowadays my favorite to make and drink is an old-fashioned.
Ooh, yes.
I love an old
She's
fashioned.
my kind of gal.
So Rose's grenadine syrup. Rose's products are used around the world to add special flavor to food and drink.
Especially...
It doesn't. What is it?
Well, he said it's a cherry syrup.
It doesn't say.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Very good. You guys are going to like this.
It just tastes like Busch Light.
You didn't think you could make Busch Light better, but it is.
It's just like a lighter Busch Light.
I've never heard of anyone putting grenadine in beer.
No,
This is very entertaining.
it's not needed.
No, it's certainly not needed. You could probably add some more than what I just put in it.
The only problem is now you carry this around and somebody's going to say you got a foo-foo drink.
No, at the bar, you just tell them to put a splash in. Open your can, open your bottle, just put a splash right in it.
This is simple carbs, Tanner.
Simple.
Simple carbs. You can't. Complex carbs.
It's not a complex carb.
So there you go, MP. That's what we got to mix for you, and now you have to tell your husband and everybody about it when you all get together. Pull your bottle of grenadine out and make them put a splash into beer.
Put a little bit more in. That's good.
That does do it?
Yeah. Yep.
But I want to go back to your chisel plowing experience. this fall. How do I describe? Maybe I should let you describe. You didn't chisel plow in stereotypical attire.
Yeah, I guess.
What was that all about?
I just wore oh, okay. Well, I wore, I guess, what would be considered too fancy of a sweatshirt and was called out multiple times on
Sweatshirt.
social media. It was a sweatshirt and, yeah, multiple, I don't know if they were men or women. I think they were old guys. But I don't know. That's my opinion.
Sounds like it might have been a sweater.
It was not a sweater.
Okay.
It was a sweatshirt. Anyway, so I decided to throw on a dress and go on the tractor, and then people actually took me seriously when I did that. So then I put on my prom dress, and I went to the same tractor.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it was a big yellow poofy one. And I did not wear these dresses while I was actually supposed to be working. Just disclaimer, because I don't want people to think I was wasting running hours on the tractor. Messing around with TikToks.
I just can't imagine what it'd be like trying to get a prom dress up into a tractor cab. I mean, I know I had classmates drive a tractor to prom, but let alone do it to film it, and even if you wanted to try and operate in it for a while.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't go all the way into the cab. I just climbed up on the steps. It was snowing, actually, so I was very committed at this point to clapping back.
Well, I mean, you were committed when you went and found the prom dress and then got into it. Like,
And still fit into
hey,
it.
that's amazing.
Give her props for that, too.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of kids.
Tanner can't even fit into his anymore.
Right?
Slide that one in there.
Yeah.
Very well. Well played. Well played.
I think so. I wanted to go back even a little bit further. So you have 4 families providing the meals. So you cook twice a week. I think you could almost have like a reality show, like a cooking show where the farmers are actually rating your stuff like on a scale. Like, you know, that could be like that'd be an awesome cooking show, wouldn't
What
it?
is the name of that? The guy that goes to the restaurants and tells you how bad your food is? Gordon Ramsay?
Oh yeah.
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 But the farmers are the judge. It could be Acres TV. It's a show right there.
Actually, that's really funny because I was in communication with MasterChef, and I think that's Gordon Ramsay's show, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
Yep.
But they had like reached out because they were looking for home chefs to audition or whatever. I didn't even decide to audition because when you look into what it takes to go on there, it's like they just cover your expenses and you have to be at their beck and call for like 3 months or something.
Oh, boy.
Wasn't worth it.
No.
So what is the field favorite? What's the go-to if everyone had to pick? Like, Mary, you're gonna make this week. What would it be?
Well, one of the prompts in my journal is your favorite field meal for the season, and I think this year my husband said they were like pulled pork tachos, so
Tachos.
not nachos but with tater tots.
Oh.
And also Crunchwrap Supremes were another really favorite
I can
of
see
the guys.
that.
But
The
Yeah.
tater tots are tough
That's
to
just-
keep in good condition between
know,
the
they-
oven and the field.
they liked it. I don't know. It wasn't a complaint.
And the Crunchwrap Supreme's like soft tortillas with the hard tortilla, and then whatever taco fixings in the middle. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That'd
do
be
you-
nice.
So is it better hot meals or cold meals? So like cold turkey sandwich or
It's always
lasagna?
better hot.
So the lunchtime, so people call lunch and dinner different things, but lunch is noon for us. Dinner is PM, nighttime.
Supper.
They eat like cold lunch, and then dinner is like, warm, usually 4 or 5 p.m.
So does everybody get together before they go out and do breakfast? Like anytime we go
No.
hunting, like the whole family gets together for breakfast before we go out.
Nah, you're on your own.
No.
You're on your own for breakfast. Like on our farm, usually you only get one lunch, and so or one dinner, one meal. I guess I should say it's either lunch or supper or dinner, and usually we get lunch and then kind of supper. You're like, well, I guess when you're hungry, come in.
Well, same mother-in-law would make food on the field for us,
Oh,
and it would just be
She don't mess around.
it would be so much food for lunch that it was basically 2 meals. I mean, if you
I gained 20 pounds the 1.5 weeks I worked with your family because of that.
That's funny.
It was like 5 course.
They Wow. They pack their lunch in the morning, so nobody's out there delivering food at lunchtime.
Yeah.
It's only dinner time, and we cover kind of far from the home farm ground-wise, so there's not an option to come home and eat or stop what they're doing and eat. If we want work to keep getting done, we have to keep them going, and that's our way to contribute to keep the crew going.
So do you think there's enough call in Iowa if you started farm family meals and they didn't have a Mary at home, that would farmers buy into this program? We get all through harvest, all through planting, we'll give you meals?
We're too cheap, I think. But we have actually thought about that because my mom had a full-time job.
Yeah.
She's retired now, but when she had a full-time job and it was my dad, my grandma was kind of getting too old to do it. So we were kind of on our own. So we would order from the bar or the local barbecue place or send someone a Subway or something like that. I was actually talking to the bar one day, you should just do a sack lunch. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. $4, $5, whatever. Yeah. And I would buy that 5 times a week.
Huh.
But
so there's a restaurant in Colo next to where the in-laws are.
Yep.
And they tried doing that. And the tricky part is getting somebody to stop to pick it up. You'd almost have to have field delivery.
You could do that.
Oh, man, Uber Eats farm style.
Yep.
You could have one person just going out and throwing it on the edge of the field.
Some of our friends were like, can you guys start one of those, a farm food delivery? We have quite a few friends that farm in the area. Not every farmer has that kind of support with meals like ours do. So, just because of whatever, their wives are working or they don't have a significant other, they don't have that same level of support. So we've had that joke run around.
I'd argue that we would probably. I think we have so many subscriptions now that.
I know people that have gone into a nursing home just because they wanted the meals. They're retired bachelors that their wife passed, etc. They're like, I'm sick of eating out. I'm going to join a community just because they give me good meals.
Mm-hmm. And the worst part about a farmer is we are always, when we do eat in the field and someone's not making us a lunch, go grab Burger King, it's bad stuff. If someone could bring healthy, wholesome food.
Fuber Eats.
Fuber Eats.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, MP, we like to take a second break, not only when we mix something to drink, but we like to play a little game with our guests. And the game that you get to play is Would You Rather. So we're going to give you 2 options, and you get to decide what you would rather do. The first one's going to be a pretty simple one just to get you warmed up. Would you rather not see your kids for a month or not see your husband for a month?
Did you see her eyebrows go up there?
Oh, my goodness. You can't do this to me.
Just a warm-up. Just an easy one.
Well, I pretty much go for months without seeing my husband. Anyway, no, just kidding. We see him in the field, but I don't think I could. Okay, I love him to death, but I couldn't go a month without seeing my kids.
I think most would say that.
I would. Sorry, honey. Yeah, I want to see my girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
I
rather?
would be heartbroken either way, though. He's a very active dad, so that would be really hard.
Gotcha. Here's probably a little bit easier one. Would you rather post to social media from your kitchen or from the field?
Field, 100%.
Oh, is that
Or
the
post,
answer you thought?
I guess post from home.
Yeah.
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 To clarify, post probably after I'm home, but the content comes from the field.
That makes sense.
Since we're on the social media side, would you rather have a male audience or only an audience outside the U.S.?
Ooh.
This is so weird.
That is a weird one. Tanner, did you come up with
Tanner
Yes.
came up with them.
I don't know. I guess only outside the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Over male audience. Fair enough.
I like that.
The men that interact with me, there's some good ones and there's some crappy ones. Same with the females. So it's just kind of, I don't know. But I would miss the mom interaction that I get, I think.
Right. Well, here's a mom question.
Okay.
Would you rather your kid get sick during church or in the middle of the grocery store?
Ooh.
Like puke?
Like puke.
During church because they go to church daycare, so I wouldn't have to clean it up.
That's a cop-out.
Yeah,
This is the 5th week, the 5th Sunday of the month. There's no church daycare. They're sitting in a pew next to you.
You are in the auditorium.
Probably still church.
Okay.
I think
'Cause at
grocery
least
store
I'm-
for me.
I
See,
don't
I
know.
would have said grocery store. Clean up aisle 5.
I would
mean, that
feel less guilty about making the grocery store clerk clean up.
You're right.
Did I ever tell you my
best.
story on this? So I was a grocery store bagger person, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working at Sunmart Foods, and I was way low on the totem pole. And this guy come up, and he's special needs, and he was saying something, but nobody could understand him. And his helper that was with him is checking out and says, "Just a second." And he was like, and going to him. And I'm like, something's up. Like, something's wrong. Like, are you guys okay? And the lady like, it's fine. It's fine. He walks away. The guy had crapped his pants. And it was coming out all on the floor. And then my boss looks at me. She's like, clean it up. I'm like, I told you something was wrong. And you weren't listening to me. And she's like, clean it up. And I got so sick at looking at it because it was the smell, etc., that I threw up on the floor. So then I looked at her and I was like, clean that up. And I walked away and I went back. So she cleaned up both the diarrhea and the my throw up on the floor. So like, yeah, I don't.
Did you get fired?
I'm like, I can't. No, I'm out.
Did you get fired?
I did not.
Wow, bless her heart.
I did not. She cleaned it up.
I thought the way your story was going to start is you were that kid that threw up in the grocery store.
No.
But you were the kid that threw up in the grocery store.
I did, but it was after I was. Oof.
I saw another one on TikTok today that didn't make our list, and it was, would you rather accept a prison sentence for a year or a prison sentence to where as soon as you solved the Rubik's Cube, you could get out?
Ooh, Rubik's Cube.
Can't take the stickers off.
Probably a year.
What, you think you can get the
I
Rubik's
don't
Cube?
know.
My kid has studied this.
Not
and
your kid's not in
and
jail.
he is good, so he has taught me how to do it.
Okay.
And so he can do it in about 26 seconds.
What?
We've been having contests to see who can do it faster. And so
you're going to be in jail for a minute.
yeah, he's super fast. So
What's the key to that?
Wow.
What's the key to solving a Rubik's Cube?
there is a pattern.
Okay.
There's a pattern to it, and so you get the cross,
Yeah.
then you get the dots, then you get the corners, and then there's a pattern, a left right type pattern. And
Because I can solve the top layer. I can get the whole top third. And beyond that, I get so lost. You're telling me it's a pattern after that.
Yep, it's a pattern. You got to get the cross first. After you get the cross, then you get certain centers for each side, and then once you get that, then it's a rhythm.
I like that.
What about the people that do it blindfolded?
So they're just studying where the part. I'm guessing they're studying where the parts are, and then they know how many moves it is. They got to click left and right 26 times, and so then it's left, right. You know,
Wow.
Rubik's Cube. I'd be out.
What about you, Corey?
What?
Are you doing a year, or are you going to wait until you solve a Rubik's Cube?
I do feel like I could, if I had enough time, I would solve the Rubik's Cube within a year.
Okay.
It might be like 360 days instead of 365.
Yeah.
There
Well, if
goes a Haggy.
If you could Google it, then you'll figure it out really quick. There's all kinds of YouTube videos on how to solve them.
That's true.
Can't Google in prison.
I don't know. They have public internet.
How about last one? Would you rather have a beer or a cocktail?
Cocktail.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. She wants her old fashioned.
says the bartender.
Yep.
What was the cocktail choice before you went to Old Fashions?
Jim Beam and Sprite with a lime.
Ooh, a little
So what's
bean.
in an old fashioned?
It's just bourbon and like,
Bitters.
yeah. Pretty
It's
much
more
just
fancy.
a stiff.
It's more fancy.
Yeah. It's a bourbon with some sweeteners.
I still like it with bourbon, but in Wisconsin it's traditionally served with brandy. So my husband actually likes it with brandy.
I could see that because
Yeah.
it's sweeter.
I used to work with a girl named Brandy.
Okay. Okay.
That's better than dated a girl named Brandy and the stories that we could have gotten
There was questions.
out of there. Well, MP, we don't want to keep you beyond your time. What are we missing in your story? What have we not uncovered?
Oh man, I don't know. There's a lot about me I haven't talked about on this
How
podcast.
many more kids are you gonna have?
None.
It's done.
Done.
Store's closed.
2 and done. 1 of each. Closing up shop.
Yeah. We're at 2.
If we have more than that, we won't have enough spots to put our kids in the buddy seats. So
There you go.
just kidding.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right now, each one of us can take one kid and still be in a tractor working all day. So
Yeah.
There you
works
go.
out.
Yeah, we know these episodes we can't cover everything about a person. It's always fun just to scratch a little bit of the surface and introduce our listeners to them if they don't already know who you are. We did have a question that we asked to Tony Reed and kind of stumped him in the beginning and stumped us, and I still don't think I have a good answer to it yet. Are you ready for it?
Sure.
If you could stop any crime permanently forever, that crime will never be committed again. But the only way to stop that crime is you have to commit it.
So you commit that crime, and then it'll never happen again. But you have to do it.
What are you stopping?
It's so deep. It's so bad.
Tony was stumped. If you stumped Tony, there's no way I'm gonna have a good answer to this question.
I can't wait for the listeners' answers to come in because, you immediately go to, I can stop bad crimes. I can stop something really, really severe.
Yeah.
And then the catch of I have to do it, it's like, oh, crap.
Like my mind initially went to like child sex trafficking, but I could never do that.
Then you have to.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
No.
You know what? I'm just gonna go with do drugs of some
You're
sort.
just
Like, I'll try it once.
I'll smoke some weed.
Yeah. That's not illegal anymore.
See, I was thinking murder, but then I was like, do I get to choose the person that I get to murder? I suppose you would.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Gosh.
I could light somebody up, I think, to stop. I mean, I think so. I get to pick them, though. So, check that
Change
guy
the
off
locks
my
on
list.
doors.
So, MP, as you look across social media right now as a consumer, as someone that enjoys the networking, what are some accounts that inspire you? What are some people that you enjoy watching?
You guys are putting me in a bad place here because I have a lot of friends on social media, so I can't possibly name
You only have 33
all
on
of them.
Twitter.
32 actually.
You only have 32.
Okay, but that's the one that I go to the least. I think some fellow farm wives. I feel bad even shouting them out because I know that there's going to be so many more that I think of when we hang out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think instead of answering that question, I'm going to skirt it and say to find the people that you like or like the people that you enjoy interacting with, you have to interact with their stuff. So actually, that's a question that my husband had. Why am I seeing this and not the stuff I want to see? I'm like, do you interact with anyone's content? No, he doesn't. So how are the apps supposed to know who you are enjoying interacting with? But yeah,
I am militantly liking all of your posts right now because you don't follow me on TikTok either.
Well, now I'll find you.
Yep, that's what you have to do. When someone's not paying
actually-
attention, you have to go through and like 50 of their posts.
So that way,
I would say, though, TikTok-wise, I do look forward to Tony's content, even though we are like opposites in how we interact with our audiences. I really enjoy him, and I know he's like, he puts up a good front, but he's got to be such a sweet guy in real life.
He is. We had the
Yeah.
pleasure to
she doesn't follow me either.
spending 3 days with him last week at the Conservation and Drainage Expo, and like he just gets along with everybody. Mm-hmm. I pulled him up on the stage, and we were doing a round table, and he just was He had a Busch Light tall boy at like 2 p.m, and everyone just so related with him and just loved his stuff. So he's a good dude.
Was he wearing his Keystone
Yeah,
light
he had his
shirt?
Keystone shirt
He's got
on,
his
drinking a
Keystone
Busch Light
shirt,
tall
he's
boy.
drinking a Busch Light. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to know where you're at. He was amongst a bunch of tile contractors, so
They were fine with that.
So, MP, as we get ready to send you off, our listeners are going to go out and they're going to find you. Obviously, they've heard about your new product release, your new business not your new prison adventure, your new business adventure. How maybe businesses could be like a prison, right?
Well, kind of.
Just don't give her
From
a
the crime
Rubik's
that
Cube.
she created, or crime that she did.
What can our listeners do to help you, to help MP?
Well, you can find me, I guess, on my social platforms, and if you like what you see, we can hang out more than just the hour that we have on this podcast. The social channels are just Mary Pat Sass. Search that. I don't think anybody else has my name, which is kind of cool
Yeah, it
if
is.
you think about it.
I think it's the only social name that we know that has like 3 names like that.
Mary Pat.
I was trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my intro, and I couldn't.
Couldn't do it.
Like a person so cool, she's got 3 names.
You got 3 names?
Yeah.
I like that.
I only
'Cause-
gave my kids one name and plus their last name, so I guess they're not as cool.
So they don't have a middle name?
Well, they do, but I mean, my middle name isn't Pat. My middle name's Elizabeth, so I have.
She's a 4-namer.
I really. Yeah.
Ah. So it is
Yeah, it's
Mary
confusing.
Pat.
Sorry. Yep.
I think Mary goes. There was a gal that I wanted to date that was Mary Beth.
We've
Yeah.
got one that's Mary Ellen.
Yeah,
Mary Sue.
I think there's a lot of names that pair with Mary.
Why is that?
I don't know.
We need to dig into the history of this.
No, we don't.
Double names of Mary.
Complete waste of time.
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree.
Complete waste
Yeah.
of time.
So, but I don't know. Any way you can support a content creator is interacting with their stuff, and it also helps you find more people like them
Yeah.
to find. So yeah.
I like that. Maybe
I
you can get
appreciate
in.
everything.
You can get into her inner circle.
I'm
Is it-
trying
Yeah.
right now. I'm still liking videos.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do have an email list that I send stuff out to, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything I'm doing without the audience. I mean, besides the stuff I love the most, which is the farm and the family stuff, I'd still be doing that whether or not we had social media followers. But it's opened a lot of doors, and I really appreciate this exposure too. So thank you guys for having me.
No problem. But the last question, power question, Corey.
Oh gosh.
What does success look like to you?
You can
I
think
know you
about
guys
it.
even.
You can think about
No,
it.
you even like warned me about this one, and I thought about it, but it's a really hard question. I think it's spending as many days as you can with a joyful mindset. Whatever you're doing is bringing you joy. So whether that be from the cab of a tractor, at home with the kids, behind at the desk at work, if that's what you really enjoy, like doing what you enjoy and not wasting your time in something that's not bringing you joy.
That's good.
Good.
I like that. Well, Mary Pat, MP, this has been a pleasure. I know we only scratched the surface, so we can't wait to meet you in person. Keep up the good work. It's fun to watch.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
We
yeah,
enjoy
I really
following
appreciate
you,
you guys having me.
even though it's.
Well, thank
you know,
you.
Even though you don't.
doesn't
Is that how you have
balance
so
that.
many followers? You just guilt everybody into it?
I'm gonna open up. I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram.
It was
that you
TikTok.
Were going AWOL. Okay.
Good morning,
Oops.
Corn,
Sorry,
pork, and
just opened
beans.
it.
I'll fix it up. I'll fix it.
Oh my gosh,
No,
I'm ruining it.
She can't do
You guys
it.
can edit that out.
No, we're leaving that in because we want to know what Mary Pat consumes. No, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what I say at the end of every show, crack a bush light. You deserve it. Thanks, guys.